the babes behind the brand as they talk business, women supporting women, and share what it's really like to work in the fashion industry.
Welcome back. It's me again, Donnie, the founder and creative director of Privilege, and I'm here with Leah.
Yes. Hey, guys. It's Leah, the operations manager. It's a good day today.
Well,
Can I just say?
Yeah, well, it's sunny.
Yeah.
But also we're kind of rusty because we haven't recorded in a while.
Yeah. I feel a little rusty right now. But I'm pretty stoked on our guests because, first of all, I special ordered myself something from their collection, and I'm so stoked to rock it this
I'm
weekend.
probably going to get half of it.
Yes, you are. Let's enter our guests now. These founders sought to fill a void in the handbag industry by creating uniquely proportioned informal clutches that offered functionality, versatility, and purpose without sacrificing sex appeal. They have expanded from there, and they're going to share the story about that with us soon. But Mary Rich was born with the influential woman in mind. We're excited to welcome Yana and Sean Lee.
Hi.
Hey.
Okay, can I interject there when you're like, can fit, what did you say about the clutches? Like,
It's uniquely proportioned informal clutches that offer functionality, versatility, and purpose without sacrificing
I was
sex
thinking like
appeal.
you could fit anything in those clutches,
Oh,
like
yeah.
including a baby. Those things are so big.
They double as a pillow for the baby.
Totally.
Oh, yeah, they do. They're beautiful, and I'm excited to talk about the rest of the products. But let's do our Q&A first, and then we can jump over that way. Donnie, boss or bust?
Okay, firm bust. I got a new iPhone like 4 months ago, and I still am using my cracked iPhone with like the pop socket that's fallen off
Your
the back.
pop socket is so sad.
It's
We have them
so-
here.
I know, but it's like ridiculous because all I have to do is transfer my stuff over and set up a new phone.
Yeah.
But it's so annoying, and I just like, it's pathetic that I haven't done it.
Okay, I am the person that I'm like setting it up as I'm leaving the store. I'm like, no one talk to me for 2 hours. I'm so excited to set it up.
I haven't
I'll
done
set
it.
yours up for you.
Yeah, I was talking to Miriam yesterday. She got a new phone. She's like, you know, it only takes like 5 minutes to set up. Like, I don't understand. Like a brand new iPhone.
But then there's an update like every other week.
Yeah.
It's like, who wants to sit there for 2 hours?
I do.
and how many times are you going to remind me before you just go away?
Exactly.
Like I'm
before you
not
go
doing the
away.
update.
Yeah. Operate from 12 to 4 a.m. It's like, I'm probably still on my phone from 12 to 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Catching up on email.
I'm not putting it down,
what
so
are you
no, you're
talking
not.
about? 12 to 4
That's
a.m.
what you think.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
What's
Yana,
yours?
where are you at? Boss or bust?
Oh, I didn't prep for this one.
You want to come back?
Yeah, come back to me.
Sean Lee?
A big bust recently in my life. You may have noticed I actually had a major fall and busted my face open. So
I
it was
need
a
to hear the
literal
story.
bust.
Yeah, we need to hear this.
It's really not as exciting as everyone thinks it is. I just moved into a new place and I had a lot of space, was kind of like walking around a little faster than I would, tripped, fell on top of my friend and smashed my head into the corner of the kitchen island.
Oh, man.
Yeah, proceeded to get a bunch of stitches, but I don't know. I think
Wow.
it was like a sign from the universe to slow down a little bit.
Totally.
Yeah.
Don't you hate those?
A physical sign.
That's a very
You're not
physical
gonna,
sign.
Yeah, if you're not going to slow down, I'm just going to make you.
Okay.
And this
Stop.
looks amazing.
I was
compared
gonna
to
say it looks
where
pretty
was.
good.
Oh, this was a few weeks ago. So I
Oh, wow.
literally looked like I got curb stomped to the point of near death,
Like,
but I
Yeah.
survived.
Oh, yeah, your
full
eye would have been
shut.
black.
Yeah, it was bad. It
That's
was bad.
terrifying.
It was, but it looked a lot worse than what it was too. So it was like,
The eyes are dramatic. They like swell up and shut
Yeah.
and go black.
yeah, I know.
To protect
So,
themselves.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they just
dramatic.
heal. It's very dramatic.
It's very dramatic looking.
I was out of town.
Calm down. Yeah.
I was out of town.
Okay, but did you have business meetings in the weeks after that?
Well, I have business partners for both of my businesses, so
Yeah.
it's like it was easy. They got it covered, fortunately.
thank
but
goodness.
yeah.
You'd
had a
hate to walk
birthday
into a
party.
presentation.
I had a birthday party,
Oh,
yeah, that I had to get some special makeup for, but we're good.
Oh
We're
my
good. It's all
gosh.
fine.
Thank
You're
God
such
we're
a
girls and
trooper.
can wear makeup. though.
I
Yeah.
know.
Well, I mean, a man can walk around with a busted face.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Right?
They kind of
Yeah.
look cool,
It's
I guess.
masculine, yeah.
I don't know.
It's
Oh,
kind of like
not the
offers
same.
you some credibility.
Yeah, they're like, you look really badass.
Yeah, like, I'm not
I
really
feel like
gonna
a
fuck with you.
loser.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I'm going to take a boss because last night we kicked off our anniversary celebrations with dinner. and some
and you
some wine that was very wonderful. And the best part is just that I'm over 30 and have a headache today.
But okay, but the
Like,
boss
really?
part is that she's celebrating like a 10-year wedding anniversary.
10 years married. I can't even believe it.
Wow,
It's crazy because I'm 25, so I was a child bride. No, I'm kidding.
How old were you when you got married?
I was 24 when we got married.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we were young, but yeah, 10 years. I think that's worth celebrating. So
That's
we're doing
worth
like a week of
celebrating.
celebrations, obviously.
Leah,
as you
the
do.
math on that is not working for your age. Because aren't we the same age?
Oh yeah, so I was 25 when we got
Yeah.
married.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
we're both 35.
Yeah, I was
and
25.
You've been married for 10 years. Okay.
Yeah, 25.
Glad we clarified that.
Thanks, Donnie, for putting that out there.
I don't know how the years just went by. Like
I do
seriously,
not know
was
how I've
22
been married
and
10
now I'm
years.
35, and I
Yeah.
feel like all I've done is work.
That's why I say I don't know how that happened because I'm 25. Like, I feel 25.
I don't know. I stayed 29.
Did you?
Yeah, I just stayed 29.
Good for you.
I haven't changed. It's crazy.
Do you guys agree though? I don't feel any different than I felt.
No,
Like,
do you
I'm
re-
better?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel
I'm
better.
happier. Like I don't think I go back
so
to
much
those
happier.
struggles.
No.
But
I love
mentally,
30s.
like I feel like I am that age. So
I still like the same things.
Yeah.
I still like doing the same things.
I don't know. I feel like when I turned 30, that was my best year. It was like everything. There was so much clarity with everything, what I liked, what I
Yeah.
didn't like, what I put up with, what I don't. And once you have all that clarity, it just makes a happier you.
And don't you find the 30s are a little bit more introspective, and at the same time you feel like you know nothing? Like you're curious to explore, whereas your 20s you're like, I know that, and now you're like, I know nothing.
Yeah.
my 21-year-old self knew everything.
Totally.
My 35-year-old self knows nothing.
Yes.
Like
Exactly.
I will ask the questions at my age, and I will like literally go to the source and dumb myself down to the point of like where it's like you're undermining yourself. It's
Totally.
it's the complete
A little,
opposite.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you're aware of how little you actually know, and you just want to know
I
more.
think that's maturity.
Totally.
So the
realize
30s are like
this is
a
a-
humbling experience.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
I kind of want to punch my 21-year-old self in the face
Oh my
sometimes.
God.
The way
Sure.
I thought and the way I acted, like
Yeah.
the overconfidence.
embarrassing.
It's embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
Well, we've come a long way, ladies.
Let's celebrate us today.
Yeah, totally.
Do you have a boss or bust now?
Now that I understand the question a little bit better,
Yeah.
I've been bossing my house reno. Really
Ooh.
excited.
Another one?
We're doing it in stages.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm just finishing up one stage and we're plowing into the next stage. So
How's your marriage?
it's actually good. Like, are you talking about with? Because
Well,
it's hard,
yeah,
it's
like-
a hard
Hard
on your marriage
process.
renovating.
I've been the last 5 years. We've been going through like renovation, and then we just did a 2.5 year home build, and it's just like it is a stressor for sure.
For sure. For sure. It's like having extra kids. Luckily my husband is like the handiest person on earth. I literally married my father. My dad is like a jack of all trades type person, and so is my
That's
husband.
amazing.
Wow.
It's the best. My mom was like, you better get yourself a man that can fix anything. And I did exactly that.
Because you're such a creative too.
Totally. So I'm always like, build this. But a lot of it's like fixing, because if something breaks, like I don't want another man coming into my house to fix something. Like, it's like
that's fair.
Like, yeah, it's like I've had a cleaning lady only a couple of times and I don't like it. I'm like, I just prefer cleaning my own house. I really do. I feel like I'm faster and better at it.
Yep.
So it's just like bringing another woman into the house to do, like, I don't want to bring another man into the house to fix something. Like, my husband better be able to fix it. And also just like create things that I think up.
That is like the opposite of my life. I have like Ev, and then I have Mark.
Yeah.
He's my house man. Like
Mark can fix or create anything.
I fucking love Mark.
Well, then you have Mark.
I have Mark, and honestly, I wish everybody had a Mark. Mark is
I need a mark.
Mark is amazing. He will come, and Ev is he thinks I'm overprotective about like child safety, where I'm like, we need gates. He's like, we don't need gates anymore. We don't need this. You're so paranoid. I'm like, Mark is like, no, we need to like child safety this. Like, he gets me on that level. So I feel like my tank is full between the two of them, but I definitely recommend a handyman.
He's come into the office before and we were like, oh, our back door is not working. He's like, I'll bring you a new one tomorrow.
Yeah, he's so good.
Amazing.
He's done virtually all my store renovations. He's just
Oh, yeah.
He's like a general
he's a
handyman type
He's
thing.
a jack of all trades.
Amazing.
Master of none, he says.
Is he married?
Yes. And he
Lucky
like loves
woman.
his wife. He is just like
Good.
dotes on her and his kids. And he always like, if he comes over, he like picks up my kids first. He's
He's
perfect man. Other than Ev, of course, right?
Of course.
But Ev
different
can't,
ways.
will not hang a picture. Like he's a master delegator.
Can't do
and
it all,
that's
right?
Yeah.
Well,
No,
know your
you can't do it
strengths.
all.
Yeah, exactly.
Donnie, what's your weekly obsession?
Okay, it's funny. I have a weekly obsession, but I don't even actually know what it's called. But I bought this it's like an oat seed milk or something from
yeah.
like this grocery store, but it's like it's vanilla infused and nutmeg. So it's like in this like really cute like glass creamer jar.
Hey, that-
And
Can we
it's,
post?
like, my
We can post the link in the group.
I'm gonna have to like
We'll
take a
find it.
picture and like
Yeah.
find out the brand name, but it is my total current obsession. Like for like a coffee creamer, everything.
And oat milk is a lot of people can't tolerate nut milks or they taste too nutty or whatever, but oat milk has like a really nice creaminess to it.
yeah, and the fact that they've added the nutmeg and the vanilla, it's just like really creamy and satisfying. Super into it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, Miss Domesticated over here.
Well, why don't we go this way this time? I can take.
Well, I was gonna say, I'm like, I don't know what the brand is, but Leah, I'm sure you could like figure out a recipe. She's like our connoisseur of like recipes and whatnot.
I've always wanted to make oat milk. I don't have the right blender for it.
You should do it.
If Ninja or one of those big fancy blenders wants to sponsor me, I'll make a video about making oat milk.
Do you think I can make it in a Ninja?
Yeah, I think so. I'd have to look up the recipe again.
Yeah.
You also need like the press and you need the right cheesecloth bag and all that.
I would like start it all and make a huge mess and then never finish
buy
it.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just buy
it
it.
sounds
There's
like
people that do
lot
that
of
for
work.
you. Okay, I'm obsessed with Hoochie Booch, which is like an office favorite of ours. Their kombucha is phenomenal. It's a local company. The other day they brought us some of their new summer flavor, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's coming out, I think, sometime this summer. It's got, oh my gosh, I always say pamplemousse, grapefruit. I always remember the French word for that. I don't know why.
We're in Vegas and she's talking about the pamplemousse. I'm like, what is happening?
Oh, I blank on it every time. It's grapefruit, which is a favorite of mine because it's not too sweet. Like, I don't like anything too sweet. So the grapefruit has like a nice kind of fresh bitterness to it. Not too much though. Anyhow, we did like a bit of a boozy cocktail with it. So we mixed it with gin. And it was so light and
juice
fresh.
kind of thing.
Yeah, like a gin and juice. It was so good. It was amazing. Have you guys tried Hoochie Booch?
No.
So good. I have like the big ones of it in my fridge at home, and I have like a pineapple one that's unbelievable. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's the best kombucha for sure.
It's I think I do love my GT Synergy, but this is like next level. It's so good.
The Synergy has too many floaties in it. I can't do it.
Scoby. I'm obsessed with Hoochie Booch and with their new flavor. Like their summer one with gin is going to be my go-to drink. If you're local, you can get it at like Palm Natural Market and Spent Grounds, or that Nada, the zero waste place downtown has it as
I
well.
love that Yana just pitched in and was like, yeah, gin and juice. Yeah.
Yeah, gin and juice.
Had some this morning.
Hardly.
You need to
Not
try
a
a gin and
drinker
juice with
anymore.
the grapefruit.
Are you super
really nice.
domesticated now?
Since I was pregnant, I just lost my taste for alcohol, and I don't even like have a glass of wine just kicking around the house anymore. I still drink beer, love beer, so I'll have like a casual beer, but it'll take me way longer to get through the can.
I feel like I should give our listeners a backstory. So Yana, we've known each other for years.
Yes.
And we actually, at the same time I had Elliot, she had Edison.
Yes.
Which was like, now I cannot have a fourth child because that would have been the name. And then I would be like copying her for another e-name. But yeah, you're kind of like a revamped bad bitch now.
Yeah.
You're like a domesticated.
Totally. Cool mom.
Yeah.
She's not a regular mom. She's like cool.
She's a cool mom.
Yeah. Not much has changed other than a whole bunch more responsibilities.
So much responsibility.
But I was meant to be a mom, so it feels right. It's good.
Oh, it's
That's
like
so
the
good.
best thing ever, but it is the hardest thing ever too.
Yeah. Yeah, especially
And
if
you
you're
have
OCD
two
and-
so close
yes.
in age.
Yeah, they're 3 years apart.
What?
Yeah,
I
they're
thought.
not that close.
Never mind.
Yeah, well,
For me, I'm
For
like,
you,
I have
yeah.
my kids like 4. Like a decade passes. I'm like, I think I'm ready for another one.
totally.
That's amazing. Okay, let's keep going with our weekly obsessions. Sean Lee, what's yours?
Oh, how about the new food wraps I got you? Oh, those. I'll let you talk about them because I'm not so good with the brand name and whatnot. But they are
called ETs.
ETs.
They're
Yeah.
amazing. She got me this like little gift box for my birthday which was really sweet. And I'm trying to limit my use of single-use plastic, and I just like, have the environment top of mind with most of the things I do daily. And Yana got me this plastic cover.
So what it is it's a company out of Toronto, and they're called ETs, I think.
bought them.
Did you?
Yes.
I love it. It's so cute. So what they do is it's all made in Toronto. And this is a super spontaneous plug, so I don't have any info on the brand.
Yeah, that's
but
fine.
they take like organic cotton, just basically
Yeah.
like a broadcloth, and then it's coated with tree
Some
resin,
waxy-
some beeswax, stuff like that. So it's
They
not-
now have a vegan one for
Do
the
they?
people who are like, I think, up in arms about the beeswax.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I bought
That's
these
nice.
as well, so I'm like happy I can chime in.
Yeah.
But they come in like they're like folded up. They're
Yeah.
just, like
Yeah.
whatever, but they're reusable food wraps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can like wrap nuts up or cheese.
Totally. You can make them up into like a little baggie, which is what I like to do. You just like put the food in the middle and wrap it up like a little bag, or you can put it over a bowl like you would saran wrap. And
They work.
They are
totally work.
amazing.
Yeah.
They're so tacky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not for anyone who didn't see that.
Sticky.
They're sticky.
Yeah. If you work, like you just have to put in a little bit more work, but anybody who cares about reducing their single-use plastics, like it's worth the work. I'm happy to like massage it a little bit to warm it up and like, and then it totally sticks to bowls and stuff.
It's better
very
than
easy to
plastic
wash
wrap.
Yeah.
and
I've
way
even
better.
done it in a hurry though, where I didn't have time to like work it in and just like
Yeah.
cover a
It
bowl
works.
with it, and it totally worked.
Yeah.
It did the job.
Yeah.
I mean,
does.
I've been lazy enough to put things in the fridge without any wrap before, so
Yeah,
This is a step up.
really
I
bad.
do that all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I'll eat it in a couple hours.
Yeah, and they're good for like
Those are so
100
cool.
uses apparently.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was a Canadian brand. I just bought it. I got
Wow.
suckered into like an Instagram ad.
Me
or
too.
something.
I was like, Sean Lee would love this. I'm buying too.
And I bought then you get on the website and then it's like buy 3 for this price, and I'm like,
Exactly.
well, I guess
You gotta
I
buy
need
a
this. I
pack.
bought like a bunch of them, and they have been so amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a good one. Thanks.
That's a really
Yeah.
good
See,
one.
this is why we need each other.
And it's
you
attractive
do.
looking. Like I love it. It just looks like, I don't know, wrinkled
I
up
feel
canvas.
like
Canvas
I'm a
kind of
total
thing.
environmentalist when I use them. I'm like, wow, I am
my
a boss
gosh.
right now. Look at me.
Totally.
Look at me go.
Yeah.
Throwing
I'm
water bottles in
basically
the
in a
garbage.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Basically.
Just such
Exactly.
big environmental movements,
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been an environmentalist since I was little. I used to be so crazy with like limiting how many times the toilets get flushed in my house. I'm talking when I was like 8, 9 years old. Like,
Wow.
like I was like, it's a waste of water. That's 3 gallons of water. And I was actually a little bit obsessed when I was a kid. Like Save the Whales. And it's totally resonated with me into adulthood, and it's still in
You're, like,
my
ahead of your time.
every day. It's a huge part of my everyday, and I feel like so free now that like everybody's part of this movement, and I can speak freely about how I've felt, because like I literally would be like sitting at a bar and there'd be a bartender running the water, and I'd be like, excuse me, would you mind turning the water off? And I have absolutely no shame, and like my boyfriends or my husband would be like,
Oh, they're embarrassed.
yeah, like I was more obsessed with it like maybe 10 years ago. I've settled. I've had like, I have to let people make their own decisions. I can't force my beliefs on people, but I feel a little bit more.
Think about that weight on your shoulders, though, when you feel you're so convicted in something, but it's not understood by other people. Like it's not reciprocated. That is like must have been a huge relief when people start like
Everybody's
rallying and
yeah.
people are into it.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Do you have another weekly obsession you want to share? Besides being an environmentalist?
Always obsessed. There's a new skincare line that I've been using.
Your
The
skin looks
Ordinary.
amazing.
Thank you. Have you guys heard about The Ordinary?
I feel like
Yes.
I have.
Yes,
I
I'm
have.
obsessed. My mom's best friend, actually introduced me to the line. She works in the industry, and gave
Where do
me
you
a
get
couple
it?
pieces. I buy everything online, but apparently they have a store or a pop up or something. We found it on like a geotag through Instagram.
Oh, great.
Downtown. So I don't know if they're there. But I just buy everything online, and they have like all the essentials at like prices you would not believe. You would not believe.
Really?
So inexpensive.
And they're good.
Yeah.
Have you seen that picture I posted of my like my beauty, like all my stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I like organized all my like beauty routine and my makeup and whatever, and had it like all in these like acrylic containers and just like perfectly organized. And I was like, wow, I have a lot. Like I have everything, every retinol, every glycolic, like it's ridiculous. And then I like open up the other side of the cabinet, which is Ev's side, and there's a deodorant and a razor.
Lucky
And I'm like,
Lucky
this
men.
is crazy
I know.
to compare one to the other. And then slowly I've taken over his whole side too.
Because
That
there's
isn't
not
to
enough.
say that they
to be a
don't-
woman.
that they shouldn't be using some of it, because I'm like, hey Adam, why
Like a
don't you
little
try some
something?
hyaluronic acid for hydration?
Yeah. It's like, no thanks, I'm good with water.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
It's like men
Lucky
getting
men.
petties. It's not bad.
No. Donnie, sorry.
yeah, no.
Okay. Who's your boss babe crush this week?
Okay, I'm going to use a local woman, somebody I reached out to yesterday just to ask some advice about the industry. And I was kind of like, I've been struggling with a couple things with getting like the numbers right on like inventory management. And I wanted to ask somebody's advice. So I reached out to Kathy, who owns Below the Belt. I mean, she's had so many stores for so long. And when I was, do you guys remember buying like Miss 60 jeans from there? I feel like she was like, that brand has been around for so long. So I just reached out to her to like pick her brain on, and we went for coffee yesterday. And I was like, kind of like taken back to like old school ways of like this business. And it was really inspiring and eye-opening, and I learned a lot from her. So Kathy from Below the Belt, I just think the amount of years that she's had that business is quite inspirational. We should all give her a little round of applause for what she's been doing.
That is like when I was a teen, like you said, that was like the store to shop at.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
And they have such a strong business today.
They have such good,
and
it's
such
so good.
distribution. I mean, they have like a certain niche. I mean, she calls it a mom and pop shop.
Yeah.
She's like, we're mom and pop shops. And I'm like, wow, that's like pretty cool that you kind of refer to it as that. But
Those are the ones that stay alive.
that's right.
Because they're connected to their customers and they have
exactly.
service and
Yeah. Anyways, she opened my eyes to a lot of things, and it was really inspirational to like just like pick her brain for like a hot second.
Wonderful.
So
yeah, she's awesome.
she's my boss babe crush today. What about you?
Mine is kind of throwing it back. Do you remember Current Elliott? Of course, we all remember their denim.
Oh yeah.
So Emily Current and Merritt Elliott also have their other line called The Great. And their stuff is so
I
cool.
didn't know
Do you
this.
guys know about this?
No.
Yeah, it's really, really neat stuff. You should all go check it out on Instagram. I love what they've done with it and how they transitioned into something that was what their customer wanted, as they kind of went along with their customers for a long time. Then they were like, our customers are really asking for this. Let's just give it to them. They have beautiful pieces. I'm crushing on them. They did a really good job of like swerving into a different industry.
It's the shift. Like you have to be open to shift and change. If you get so stuck in what you're doing and start thinking you know everything, I think that's just the demise of any entrepreneur.
Yeah, they've done a neat thing. So yeah, crushing on them. Sean Lee,
Boss babe crush
Yeah.
of the week.
or of your year or a
Of my
lifetime.
year. Oh my gosh. I'm totally blanking out right now.
It's hard to pick one because we do this every week, so we have like
Yeah, a
lists that we can
list
go
of
through. To
them.
summarize it to one is hard. I get
Who am I
that.
crushing on?
There's like so many. Like I crush hardest on the women that are closest.
Yeah,
I agree with
Yeah.
you too.
let's shout them out.
Your mom. My mom.
Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
my gosh, our moms.
The girls from Zane's studio who
The
we
girls from
adore.
Zane's Studio, we love them. They're
Yeah.
such bosses.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a good one. Yeah.
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 That's a good
She's
one.
a mom. She's a new mom.
Yeah,
She's killing it. Paula. And then her business partner, Sam, who's like the creative and the visionary. And
And they're both stunningly beautiful.
they're both
and,
stunningly
like,
beautiful and extremely talented. And we love working with them.
Yeah.
We do pop-ups with them regularly.
Our Vancouver ones,
And-
yeah.
in Vancouver. And they're just killing it. And they're good friends and super boss babes. Look
I
them
love
up.
it.
Zane's Studio.
I think I always go to like closest to home for this question as well. And I think it's natural. Like obviously you always come up with the best boss babe crushes, Leah, of like these people. I'm like, where did you find that person? But like I really reach out within my community. So like the people that I don't go to Instagram as often as I do the people I know, or like get a contact through a person I know.
Right. I agree with that. I think we are inspired by the people closest to us just because it's real, you know? You can't trust social media. You can't trust what's being fed to you. It's their Instagram personality. It's not their real personality. So I try and steer away from that. We do usually, I mean, I draw inspiration from Yana all the time and, you know, and mom and friends and people we collaborate with. And I think that's genuine and you can trust that.
Yeah.
You know?
I see that. I get that. That's so good.
Love it.
Donnie, what's one thing you're working on improving?
You know what I am trying to make a real conscious effort in is not, you know, when you send a text and at the end you like saying something kind of hard, so you add like a smiley face or an LOL and you kind of dumb yourself down.
Right.
I am so guilty of that. And I do it in emails a lot. And I've just been consciously trying to steer away from that and say what I want to say with conviction and not feeling like I have to like
Sweeten it or something.
Yeah, I don't need to sweeten it. I don't need to be so concerned about the follow. Like the information is the information.
Yeah.
And in the office, Leah's been starting to do this thing that we're all doing. We call it painting done. So you really like are very specific about what you're looking for and what your expectations are. So there's nothing left to interpret, right? Like
What do you call it? Paint done. It's actually not my concept.
So you
It's from Brene Brown.
You show each other exactly what done looks like.
Because Donnie may be like, hey, can you get this task done? And I might think I understand exactly what she means and I'm going to go and do it. And then she's like, oh, that's actually not quite what I asked. So now we got to redo it. Where it's like if you paint done the first time and say, this is what I think it should look like. Here's the elements I want included. Done looks like this. Like, do we need a draft in there? What's missing? How do you need support? You know, talking through the whole process, and then you get a picture of exactly what the end looks like.
That's so efficient.
Yeah, so we've been trying to do that because, and truly it all comes from a place of me valuing everybody's creativity. So I want the input, I want that, but discussing that at the forefront of the conversation instead of at the end when it's like, oh, actually we should have done this or that. So you're kind of eliminating the second draft
Great communication
of something.
tool.
Yeah, it's really good.
So I've been trying to do that, and I feel like if I can tweak the way I communicate with everybody, which that is one thing I'm guilty of, softening the blow, right? With like a smiley face or an emoji.
Exclamation
like
mark.
just say it.
Yeah.
Just say it honestly and
I think
just
that's a boss move.
expressing myself in a more genuine way. So that's one. What about you,
good.
Leah?
Well, I mean, by the time this comes out, we'll be into Q2, but I kind of do a quarter two check-in with myself. So it's not necessarily something I'm improving on, but something that I'm working on this week is like circling back to maybe any goals from quarter one or anything that I was previously working on and like checking in with myself. Like, where am I at on these things? Because I don't want to just set a goal or an intention or something I'm working on and then forget it 2 months later. Like
That's
checking
so
in with
fun
myself.
to do.
So that's kind of what I've been doing the past couple of weeks is just like reviewing where I'm at, what the next quarter looks like.
I think it's exciting. I think if you don't go back and reflect, you can't properly make changes to get to where you want to go.
Yeah, and if you don't ever track it, you're not going to get there.
I think you need to write it down in the beginning, in the end, in the middle.
Yeah.
And make sure you're
Check
on
back.
track.
Where am I at?
Exactly.
Oh,
Hold
you know what? I
yourself-
forgot that I was going to do that. I'm going to start
Hold
that up
yourself
again.
accountable, right? I write everything down.
Me too.
Oh, there's nothing that
in
gives
a
me more
checklist,
satisfying. Oh
or-
my gosh, absolutely. I have a little checklist
In your phone.
in my no. Even I just like
Physically?
physically
I'm a
write
pen
it
and
down.
paper too.
Yeah, I
For
like writing
that,
stuff, too.
it's like I'm adding things, I'm wiping things out, and it's so satisfying, and I'm accountable because it's written down and it's in my bag, and I look at it all day long, and it eats me up if I have things to do on that list.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
yeah,
I'm all about writing things
And
down.
I think that the writing things down is like good on the day to day, but I like
Yes.
the Q1 check-in.
exactly.
Well, yeah, like, okay, so I don't necessarily set a New Year's resolution, but in the new year, because it's a new quarter, maybe I set, you know what, I really want to work on this thing in myself and I want to achieve this thing in my job and then I want to do this or whatever. And to check back in, you're like, oh, actually, I did that. So you can celebrate it. Of course. Or you're like, I forgot that I had said that I wanted to do that. I better circle back and
Yeah.
like work on that.
Yeah, for sure.
That's your 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Like self-aware to a fault. But it's kind of goes also with we've implemented like probably a year ago our Monday meetings. So every Monday, without fail, we do a Monday meeting. We talk about. We started doing it. It seemed like overkill. Like, what are we going to talk about this week? But we talk about everything we have on for the week. What are we going on? We share all new ideas, and I feel like it's become really important that I've started mentally for myself popping in and doing like a Thursday check-in. How are we doing? Because there's still time in the week to shift and to make a change if
Or
something's off track.
to assess if there's a roadblock for someone and then fix it so they can actually move forward and finish what they're doing.
Absolutely. And even, this is funny because while you guys are talking about this, I'm thinking on more of a macro level. I don't really do New Year's resolutions, but I'll do a vision board every year. And I remember last year I did this vision board, and you know, I'm super into, you know, manifesting and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
And so I went through the vision board maybe like halfway through, and I definitely had to make some adjustments. I'm like, ooh, take out like the, you know, the super tattooed guy head to toe. And like, that was a fucking big mistake. Like, took him off, put this other one on. And it's like kind of the same thing, but on
you're
a
checking in.
bigger level and on more
a
macro.
year
I
is
love
too
that.
far.
A year is too far. Like in the beginning of the year, I was like, oh man, like this looks like a fun type of guy to date. And then halfway through, I'm like, oh my God, no.
Yeah.
We got to adjust and
A
make
quarter
some
is
changes.
a good amount of time because you can get a lot done and then you can adjust quickly for the rest of the
Totally.
year.
Yeah.
Okay, so on that note, what's one thing you're working on improving?
One thing I'm working on improving, actually, back to a point I made earlier, just slowing down. You know, I think I got a big physical reminder of that earlier. I feel like I was just running around like a crazy person all day long, meetings all day, networking in the evening, dinners, social plans every weekend, just trying to do everything and then some. And I've been known, you know, not to be able to say no, and that's just the way I am. And I'm such a yes person. I'm a people pleaser, and I want to do it all, but I physically cannot. And I think it's just been a good reminder to like slow down. You know, I don't have to say yes to everything. I have to prioritize myself, my health, and the people who are closest to me. And when I don't, there are repercussions. And I saw that. So that's been a big thing in my life.
Good for
lately.
you.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's a really good one. I relate to that.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. We've been talking about that a lot lately because I feel like I'm a rusher too. I'm trying to fit in too much, and I feel like I put pressure on my kids to hurry up, and I'm like, that's just wrong because they don't understand. They just don't get it, and I can't I can't get it all done, and I just have to leave some things, and
Yeah. Wow.
that's a good one.
That's a
it's
good
like the
one.
modern age. It's like we're just pressured to get too much.
Everything done.
Yeah, and it's the pressure, right? It's like, oh, but you're a boss and da-da-da-da, and like you feel like you just have to live up to all of these things, and you're a mom, and but
house
you have
has
this
to be
business,
perfect.
but you're doing house renos, but also you have a husband, you know, you need to care for him, and you have to please your mom because she has all these expectations of you, and you have to, you know, have your hair done, and your nails are grown, and what are you doing with your life, you know? And it's a lot.
It's
just a lot.
And life, it's a lot.
Yeah, so you
It's
just gotta slow
overwhelming.
down. It's
Sometimes,
overwhelming.
like I find it, it's the same thing, but really, it's only us doing it to ourselves.
Totally.
Like, so what
It's like
we-
self-sabotage.
Like I didn't get to get my nails done this week, so you know what happened? They all came off.
Exactly. I can't
It's
wait
just-
to go
that's
get
what
my nails
happened.
off.
That's what happened, and like
Yeah.
I'm still here,
Yeah.
and everything's still
And
moving,
you look great.
and it's just like is what it is.
Yeah.
Totally.
I've only had time the last 2 days to curl the front of my hair,
Yeah. And that's fine.
and then it had
And
to go
that's
in a
okay.
ponytail. Like I just did not have time for the rest.
Yeah.
Totally.
Something has to give.
Yeah. Something's got to give, and it's not going to be my health.
You know what is also going to give for me? I think is social media time. I think it just like fuels this fire that you're discussing so much. For me personally, it's like it constantly gives me that feeling like I'm not doing enough.
Me too.
Oh.
But I am doing enough. I'm doing more than enough, and I remind myself of that feeling that I've been getting every time I get off of it. It's really bothering me.
Well, I recently put a time limit on my Instagram. There's this thing, and it pops up after like, you've spent an hour on your phone today. Do you want to ignore the time limit and feel so guilty about yourself that you've spent more than this amount of time already and it's noon? Or do you want to just get rid of the app for the rest of the day? So I think that's a good little reminder.
It's a really
Another
good reminder.
check-in.
I
right?
was sitting down having a glass of wine with Ev and a friend of ours on the weekend, and he started discussing he's not on social media. And he started kind of ranting about it and going, he goes, I truly think that I am like way happier than people who are on social media because I'm not. And I literally looked at him and I heard exactly what he was saying. I think you're dead right.
Yeah.
I think it is such a curse in our lives. And it's hard because it's such a big part of this business.
Right.
So I feel conflicted on that side of it. But I think if we had never had it in the first place, we would all be a lot happier and there'd be a lot less anxiety. And
Yes and no. I mean, I agree with that. And I always say if it wasn't for my businesses, I would not be on social media. But then on the flip side, if it wasn't for social media, I would not have either of my businesses.
Exactly.
So you
I know,
gotta
it's like
just
biting the hand
use
that
it.
feeds you.
Exactly. You just got to use it, and you got to be aware of how you're using it and be aware of how other people are using it and not fall victim to these to the negative side of social media, right?
Yeah, and
You just
look,
gotta-
there's a lot of accounts you can follow that do fill you up more than drain you.
Yes.
So it's also being intentional with who
Absolutely.
you're following and interacting with them, so your feed is filled with that as
Exactly.
well.
Exactly.
Because I don't spend a lot of time on social media, but I do follow a
totally
lot of
think that
people
that's
that I'm really deeply inspired by because they're real people and people that I know. Like you ladies were saying that your boss babe crushes are the people around you. So if you have that same concept on Instagram, then it fills you more than drains you.
absolutely. And also being mindful about how I'm using it as a tool.
Totally.
Because I have a lot of people that reach out to me on social media about like questions about business and they're in business or whatnot. So it's really important for me to air out the real side and not something that maybe isn't truly authentic. Like, you know, a really genuine look at my life instead of just like the highlight reel necessarily. I don't know.
Yeah,
Right.
it's so true.
Yep.
Well, look, before we talk about you ladies, I don't want to jump over you, Yana, on that question. Is there one thing you're working on improving this week?
Yeah, actually, getting organized. I used to be so organized, like so organized. Everything was in its place, and like, it was kind of a reality check when I misplaced a little bit of paperwork of ours, and I was like, I cannot, like, who am I that I can't find this right
Yeah, welcome
now?
to motherhood.
Perspective is everything.
It's also like through our renovation, and we moved our studio, and like things kind of got split up, and so this week I'm really like, now that I'm able to reorganize my office, I'm just kind of just doing a full catalog of everything and just getting reorganized and keeping things in the order that I used to keep things in.
And sometimes it just starts with that initial reset of like doing the initial organization, and then it's easier to keep up on it.
Yeah, exactly. And just
I
the
like that.
habits that I used to have too, because I feel like I am busier, but
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's no excuse for
It doesn't take a ton of time to be a little bit
It's
organized.
it simplifies your life so much
Yeah.
when you are organized.
Yeah. Good for you.
Exactly.
Okay, let's talk about Mary Rich and you ladies. Do you want to give us and our listeners a little bit of an overview and how you started the company and what it's all about?
Sure. It was how did it all start? I've been working with leather forever, since I went to design school when I was 18. Started making leather jackets and stuff, and then graduated, started doing custom leather jackets. This wasn't a branded thing, it was just all custom stuff. And then I started doing some footwear. And then the name Mary Rich.
Your leggings, remember
Yeah,
those?
that was one of the first things. So when around the time that I was doing the leggings, I did like a capsule collection of sandals. And then that moved to handbags. I didn't want to do footwear. It was just too hard to produce. And so then I started focusing on handbags. And those were just like capsule collections, lots of one-offs, lots of custom stuff. And the name Mary Rich was like way back in the day. It was my BBM messenger name. Do you guys remember BBM?
Of course we
So
do.
it was like my alias kind of, and it was like kind of this persona that I created without really a brand in mind. And then
It's
friend.
so good though. It's such a
I love wordplay. I love
Yeah.
puns. It's very tongue in cheek. It's kind of like the anti-gold digger,
Yeah.
motto.
First name Mary, last name Rich for all the listeners.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it was my BBM name, and a good friend of mine, Kent Houston, whose marketing brain I really admire, said, when you start your brand, you have to call it this. It's really good. So when I started making handbags and stuff, I named the line Mary Rich, and then the persona that I thought of behind Mary Rich became the muse, and who we're making these things for, and so that I was making bags. Like I said, one-off stuff like that. And then I got really busy with my personal life. I ended up taking the website down for about a year. And I was at a bit of a crossroads. Like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do with this company? And I was having dinner with Sean Lee one evening, and you asked me what's happening with Mary Rich. And I told her, like, I'm going to either take on a partner and grow it, or just stop, because it's just right now, like I felt like I was really busy with other things, and I wasn't able to grow it on my own, because to have a brand, you have to be able to get out there. You have to have boots on the ground in multiple cities, because you can't sustain a brand just in Vancouver, not a brand like ours. And I needed somebody to do more outreach, because I was becoming more introverted with kids, and I was not as mobile. I was less mobile than I was before.
Less mobile with kids.
I know.
Stop.
Imagine. And so Shawnee said, like, what's going on with Mary Rich? And I said, I laid it out and said, this is what I'm thinking. And out of nowhere, I
was at a crossroad that day.
I had no idea that, like, because I thought she was just asking as a friend, like, what's going on with Mary Rich. When I mentioned that I would be interested in finding a partner, I was really surprised and really pleased when you said that you're interested.
Yeah, and I was basically at a crossroad. I'd been working for the Aritzia head office for about 4 years, and I always knew I wanted to do something on my own. I knew my time there was over. I'd hit my kind of wall, and in terms of growth and whatnot, what I wanted. And I was about to move to New York, but I was so happy to have this conversation with Yana, because I'd been admiring her product, and I was a customer for so many years. And even when I was traveling for my job with Aritzia, people would always ask me about my bags, and I was such a big advocate and such a big fan. I always knew I wanted a part of it, but I didn't know to what capacity. And so at that point, I was like, well, if you're looking...
Well, you had scheduled interviews for jobs in New York. And
that's when
I felt the pressure. And I was like, I'm like, you have to go to New York. You have to see, like, don't stay here for me.
Yeah, of course.
Because that was so much pressure for me.
Of course. Yeah. And it all just happened so organically. I went and I got the gig in New York, but I come from a family of entrepreneurs. So when I told my dad about this opportunity, he's like, you would be stupid to take... go to New York and work for someone else for the rest of your life. I'm like, yeah, but it's New York.
Yeah.
And he's like, absolutely not. Go to New York on your own terms. And Yana, he'd heard me speak
love
the
that.
world
That was being encouraged.
Oh, and it was scary too, right? I'm like, what do you mean start my own business and make bags and do it all, And I just, it felt right. And so we did it, and I've never looked back. We do our own pop-ups in New York now.
We're having so much fun.
We're having so much fun.
It's like, don't worry, honey, we're going to New York.
Yeah.
Go to New York on your own terms.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Shawnee was there for a month last year for a pop-up there last spring. And it's like, that's even better. You get to be a Vancouverite and just like be a New Yorker for a month and have an apartment. And just, like,
That's true.
Yeah, and it was like I just compared the life, like not just then at that time, because I mean the first few years was such a struggle for us. It was wild, and I would have these thoughts. I'm like, oh, I could just be like living in New York and like working at this modeling agency and whatever. But now I look back, I'm like, holy shit, that was something a 20-something-year-old would say.
And it's really like a story we tell ourselves too. Like we have this built up in our mind about the life everyone else is living.
Right.
But it's just a life just like ours.
Totally. And and so we did it, and we committed, and here we are. It's great. Yeah.
That's amazing. I love how organic it was that you were kind of identifying what was missing in the business for you, and the awareness of like, this is specifically what I need.
Yeah, absolutely. I knew
Yeah.
exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, I know who I am, and I know what I'm good at.
Yeah.
And Shanley and we complement each other really well. We're so different, but
We're
like
so
there's a
different.
lot of overlap.
Our values are the same.
Exactly.
And that's what's so important. But our strengths and weaknesses are
Yeah.
very different. Like
Totally.
when she said she lacks organization, that's something she's working on. I literally think she is the most organized person I've met in my life.
Thank you.
Like by far. And that's something that I lack. So that's so funny that she would say that.
I think you're organized. You're not disorganized.
Well, yes. So
Different
it's
ways,
something
maybe, like a different style of
Yeah,
organization.
so we definitely complement each other, and that's important.
So what really drew you in besides being a fan of the bags? Like, did you just like see that there was so much potential and that you wanted to be part of that?
Yeah, and I mean, like we said earlier, I've always thought that Yana's been so ahead of her time, and that's
I agree.
something that I value in something I want to be a part of. You know, I want to be part of something that's not just cool and hot right now, but something that has longevity and the
Room to
power to
grow,
get through. Yeah, room to grow, and something that can grow organically. And I think when you're a visionary and you see something before it's cool and it's obvious, that's something I want to be a part of.
Me,
Yeah.
I have felt that way about Yana since I met her.
Right? Same.
Yeah, I felt the exact same way. I
Absolutely.
couldn't put it into a sentence better than how you,
Yeah.
how you just
So I think
vocalized
that's
it.
something that I value and I wanted to be a part of. I was just kind of sick of following, you know, at my old job, it's like, what's cool? What's happening right now? Let's do that.
Yeah.
And
it's also your old job. That's very mainstream. That's very
Exactly.
mass market.
exactly.
And it's different than what you guys are creating right now.
Exactly. And I love this. And this is something that I wanted to be a part of. So I think that's what really drew me to it.
Yeah.
And to her and of course her style and the product spoke for itself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
They're
I definitely want-
beautiful.
Yeah, and I want to definitely have a part in that. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, can we talk about the product yet?
yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk
I've
about the
always
product.
been such a fan of Mary Rich because I am a fan of luxury items. Everybody knows that about me. Like, I like nice things, and I'm a sucker for expensive bags or expensive shoes. And I've always loved your accessories that you've created. But with your bags, which we are, you know, we're going to start carrying them.
Yeah.
Privilege. So I'm so excited to tell people that. And I feel like we've been holding off to do the podcast.
Oh, yeah,
and
we have.
to really announce it and do it.
It's been killing me to not get my t-shirt.
It's coming in at a higher price point of things than we typically do. But I feel like there's so much value added to the quality that you guys are offering. Like, I think it's comparable to a $2,500 handbag, right?
Thank you.
So I'm like, no, it's like actually so affordable for the category you guys are entering. But it's really, truly such a specialty market. So it's, you know, obviously up to everybody to decide for themselves. But I love your product. The quality is second to none.
And you're expanding from handbags. Can you tell us more about what's coming up? Like what you're working on?
We're focusing a lot more on apparel. We're kind of just like going with what feels right for us, and we've just been more attracted to apparel, and we both have experience with apparel, and so it didn't seem weird. It's just what we started doing. Everything we do is instinctual
And organic. And it's
Yeah,
not
just-
like we're moving into apparel and this is the end of bags. It's like, no, once we have an idea for a cool bag, we're going to make a bag.
Yeah.
And then once we have an idea for a cool top or shorts or pants or sweater, we're going to do that.
Yeah.
And if we want to do that a little bit more,
and like
then
what's
we're
a
gonna do that.
season? We were talking about this
Yeah.
before we started recording. Like what's a
Yes.
season anymore?
Yeah.
Like when
Can we
when
ditch it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
we
top, some of the
did.
top dogs are saying what's a season, and like,
Yeah.
and we just like want to introduce new styles when we think of them, because I can't force myself to I don't want to put myself on a timeline. Like I want to do this when, like, I want to create things when it comes naturally and when it feels right. And that's
And when
we
your
do it.
customers need it and are looking for it and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so inspired by what you're looking for. Let me give this to you. Where you're not like forced into being like, oh, I need to have 30 handbags. You're like, no, this is what my customers are going to want.
Yeah,
This is,
exactly.
they don't know that they want it yet, but I know this is what they're
Okay.
looking for.
I was thinking about this on the weekend, and I was like tempted to write like an open letter to our industry, because I feel like the fashion industry has created these seasons purely in an effort of like overconsumption and mass consumerism. And it's all just like, oh, as soon as it's the next season, that's worthless. Well, what is that doing to our environment?
Right.
What about our lifestyles and the overspending? It's hard working in this industry and feeling this way, but it's true. Now there's this trend towards minimalism, and people want value-added products, so they will spend money on it. They want something quality. This is a big problem with the seasonality of things, and Forever 21s and H&Ms that are mass consumption, and then it's so quick to switch. And then what do? Light it on fire, burn it, get rid of it? I mean, on a consumer level, it's a problem. On an environmental level, it's a problem. On from the business side, it's a problem to manage the inventory. And I'm like, what do we need a season for? I mean, my favorite items are my favorite items in and out of seasons because they're transitional and they work with other things. So we need to ditch that pressure from the brand to be overspending, really.
Yeah, and you are lucky to be the size that you are right now because you have a bit more freedom to do that. Forever 21 has to have their 4 seasons.
That's right.
You don't.
Yeah.
It's the beauty of being a smaller business.
Yeah, and even with the pieces that we have, like, we don't have summer specific. Everything that we have is a layering, and everything goes well together. You know what I mean? Even our bags and our accessories, it's like they're all kind of integrated. So even with our clothes, it's like we've got the turtlenecks that you can pair with the sweater, and then the shorts, and it all kind of goes together. We want to stay away from this season, that season as much as possible.
And I think that's a great way of marketing things. I have pieces that I've invested in that I wear that are years old. Like I'll buy a really nice linen piece and I'll wear that till it falls apart. Yeah. Right? You don't want to have to be limited like, oh, I can't wear this anymore because it's not the right season. Right. Like your style is your style.
Yeah.
And
wear
I
it.
think you and I have been working together a lot on designing up and coming collections. And I feel like everything that we have up and coming is so transitional. And it feels right moving forward.
I think that's better. I think that's more what people are looking for.
Yeah, and we don't try to focus on trends too much. Like sometimes there will be a trend that is just like an arrow through my heart, and I'm like, we're hitting that. But trends come and go, and we let them go because it's like
they're really fast nowadays.
Yeah, they're so fast nowadays, and so we kind of want to stick to just the classics and carry over what works and make improvements to what's already working.
That's what I love about what you're doing. One of the things. Where do you draw your design inspiration from? How does it happen?
That's hard to say. And like I said before, like everything is just following my instincts.
Yeah.
And so like trends, Shanley is the one that announces what's trending because she's more on it than I am. And so we kind of put our heads together and say like, what are we doing? And then also a lot of it is we don't work with these massive sophisticated factories where we just draw them a picture and they can make it. Like it's a lot more craftsman oriented, smaller factories. And so I kind of design things within those parameters, and I know which factories are good at what things and what they can execute. And so I always keep that on the top of my mind when I'm designing things, because we can't, like, I know what we're capable of producing and what we're not. So I'm not gonna design something that's just gonna be a headache. So we've got those limitations given our size, and other than that,
but maybe that protects you from overproducing maybe trend based items or whatnot, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's also, I just follow my instincts.
Yeah.
And like I said, she's ahead of her time. So she was doing see-through bags like 5 years ago.
I agree. Yeah.
So
and now
it's like she doesn't have to follow trends
Yeah.
because she's been doing that. And like neon clutches and just all of these
neon
things.
Neon comes and goes so quickly these days that it's just like, I always love neon. So I'm like, hooray, it's back again. I feel like
here we are.
It skips a season and then it comes back. I'm like, I don't know. For me, it hasn't left.
Yeah,
I love it. And see-through bags for me, it's like not even a trend thing. It's 100% functional because when I'm racing out of the house, I'm like, oh my God, do I have my keys? I just have to look down and see that my keys are in my bag. I don't have to stop and put my bag down. Like, it's really I don't know, it's a time saver that way.
It really is. The other day I was like, I think I need a see-through bag.
Well, because I'm
You'll
digging,
love it.
except for today. Remember, I opened my purse. I was like, what the heck am I carrying in my backpack?
But that would be a really funny thing
you know
to
what I have in
people
my
see.
backpack?
Oh, geez.
A bathing suit and a razor. Like, that's it. That's it.
It's a good thing to have together.
Before I
Yes.
took,
You know,
before I left the house, I took the diapers and the wipes out. But like, what the heck is in here? I would not carry that around in a see-through bag. That's for
I think
sure.
you should. That would be really funny.
No, that I would. But
Yeah,
like the
proudly.
razor and the bathing suit, just like on a rainy day, you know, where are you going?
The pool.
I do love that.
I think I was going to the spa. You know, I was rushing around.
Oh, you probably were. That's so true. Okay, should we talk about the topic that we wanted to get into, the influencer marketing? What's your
Thank
strategy?
you for reminding us, because
This is my purpose. I have the list.
yes. What is your strategy with influencer relations?
I think we just try to keep it as personal as possible and just work our personal networks, because it's just ingenuine to just reach out to people. I mean, we have gifted people that we've never met before when it's a great opportunity through a stylist or whatever, but I think it's just a lot more authentic if we can create relationships with these influencers, and then they're committed and they're loyal, and gifting is expensive, and so
for our product range, I mean, we're not banging stuff out in China for like $8-10. Our product is so expensive, our materials are so expensive, our hardware is quality, it's all made in LA. It adds up, and our prices aren't super inflated, you know, it's pretty true. So we can't afford, you know, to be handing out 50 of these $300 bags and then just hoping it turns out
and
somewhere
influencers
on
are expecting
Instagram.
a lot these days.
And
Am
they
I allowed to
are,
say
and
that?
Yeah. No, how do we
can
see
be
that in the
open.
nicest way possible? But it's
Because it becomes
There's
such
a
a big
lot.
business for them too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they need their compensation, and it's like, and there are plenty of big brands that can pay that, and that's great.
And I've seen these influencers' rooms, and before Coachella, like their bedrooms are packed with boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes, and it's like, how do I know my bag's even gonna be seen by this influencer?
Yeah.
It might not, and it probably won't, and there's that. And I see them, you know, my influencer friends gift me stuff, and it's like they didn't even use it. So where is my bag really going?
I know. I
Them,
think it's
their
really
friend, or their-
saturated right now.
Yeah, it's so saturated, and we like to back to the organic thing, and people who love our bags will promote it when they want to, and we're gonna just bank on that, and it's been working. So
We do love those more genuine relationships, because then it makes sense. Because then you build the longevity with that person, and then when someone sees it on their feed 4 or 5 times over the years, they're like, oh, I can get behind that, because they're actually getting behind it. Where when it's like a one post and you're done, it's like,
And they're actually wearing it, like
Yeah.
beyond the one post that we agreed
Exactly.
to. So it's, I don't know, it makes us, it's more fulfilling for us.
it comes back to the topic that we were talking about of Instagram in general, where it's about how you build that intentionality behind it.
yeah.
I think it's really interesting what you said too about how you guys could price your product a lot higher than what you are pricing it at, but you're coming in at this magic price point that doesn't really exist in handbags specifically.
Price point is important to us.
Yeah. And I think that price point is important in that market, because there is something so far between what is a more like inexpensive bag and then what the luxury market is providing right now. Like there's such a disconnect. And so I think you guys come in at this like really special mark.
Yeah. And that was a kind of a part of our growth strategy as well when Yana and I partnered, was like determining where are we at with the handbag industry, and where do we lie? Because there is the luxury market, $2,500, $3,500 for a Dior bag, and then there is the fast fashion, Aldo's and H&M's and Zara's, but there's this missing piece in the middle, and so we just kind of decided to curate towards that, and not inflate, not discount our product, not cheap out on our product. And it just kind of fell into this area, and
It is what it is. It's like
It is what it
These are our
is.
costs, where we manufacture in our bags are done in LA. Our apparel is done in Vancouver, and like it's not cheap. These are our costs, and we're not marking our stuff up. It's like everything's very tight, and we're making. And as we grow, we want to keep our price point where it is, and hopefully just bring our costs down on the back end.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
But the price, we wanted our price to land there. And
I think it's important because we've really like dabbled carefully in the handbag market specifically, and I know you guys are doing more than that, but just on that topic, like we do a ton of apparel, we do that, but we have not done a ton of handbags because of the lacking price point. Although we do carry, you know, dresses that are under $100 and tops that are under $50. I see our customers are carrying a luxury product. So they're not buying their handbags necessarily at Aldo or H&M, and they want something that is going to go from season to season. And they think it's more of an investment piece. So I'm like, how do I cater to that market? I'm not carrying Chanel. I'm not carrying, you know, like, so it's important to come in with a quality product and that they're buying like a forever bag. So that's been a price point I've looked for, and there's really not a lot out there.
No.
So I think that's really special that you guys are doing that.
Yeah.
I think that's an advantage.
I totally agree. I love it. I love the products. What are your favorite products right now?
Yeah, what's your go-to?
My belt bag.
Yeah.
So cute. I'm so into belt bags right now.
Totally. I layer my belt bag with my chain belt all the time. And then just
my leather tote is
Oh
something I
yeah,
use
with the
every
rope.
single day. It fits my laptop, it fits my filing, it fits my makeup bag, it fits my little notepad I was telling you guys about.
Yeah.
And it fits my belt
Belt
bag.
bag.
And then so from day to night,
Yeah.
day I take this, and then at night I just sneak this
Throw
out, and
that
I've
on.
got all my things in here that I need,
Shelby
and
always
off
wears
I
it
go.
over her shoulder.
I
Yeah,
love
I've
that
actually
look.
never worn it
over
as
the
a
shoulder.
belt bag. I just wear it,
I
kind
do,
of
'cause
over
I'm a
my
mom.
shoulder.
A lot of people too are extending it to the longest one and wearing
Exactly,
it across, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
I wear it as across the chest.
That's a good pair.
It's all about
Oh, the
integrating
the
our
clear
products.
totes.
Yeah.
That clear is so
And
cute.
it's really big, so it like literally fits everything. And these are both just such hardy totes. Like they're
Yeah.
so sturdy. You could just weigh it down. Like this is the leather tote's the perfect book bag. So when anyone
yeah.
says, "Oh, I'm going back to school," like what bag do you recommend? It's the perfect book bag.
/ travel bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
on.
a perfect
Everywhere
carry-on.
with me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Carry on.
I love it. Okay, ladies, before we go, we love to ask all of our guests, and you can each share if you have something you'd like to share for the question is a piece of advice or a mantra that you're living your life by.
Ooh, I have one that actually I have on the back of my phone, my screensaver. It's actually a quote I saw on Instagram, as stupid as this sounds. Sophia Richie put it on her Instagram of her dad, Lionel Richie, and he was just basically talking and giving her life advice, and he went on this rant about so this is exactly what he said, and I literally wrote it down on my notepad and have it on my screensaver. It says, "There are people who come into your life who don't need to be in your life. So I ask the universe, all things that are not meant to be in my life, remove it from my life with grace and dignity. All things that are meant to be in my life, bring it closer to me." So back to the whole idea of manifestation and
Queen of
saying no to
manifestation,
people.
by the
Queen
way.
of manifestation.
Like you said, you're into manifestation. No, you've mastered it. It's like crazy what
I
she's been able to
believe it.
manifest.
Yeah, and that's all you have to do is believe it. Once you believe it, you can do it. So it's like this quote really resonated with me because I found it so hard to say no. And I feel like if you find it hard to say no, you're not actually going to create space in your life to bring all the things that are going to better you and benefit you. So, you know, I asked the universe to remove these things from me. And so when something bad happens or there's a falling out or an opportunity that doesn't go the way I wanted it to, I believe that that's the way it's supposed to be. And the universe is taking this away from me to allow things that are meant to be in my life and creating space for me in my life. And I've always believed this, and I always believe that it works and operates that way, but I've never been able to articulate it as well as he did.
That's
So
beautiful. That is a
that's
beautiful
kind of,
quote.
Yeah.
I live on the day-to-day with that mantra, and it's not some like big philosophical,
Because you
Doesn't
forget
have
that
to
thing.
be.
you forget it. It's so
you,
simple.
You forget that there is only that much space.
Yeah, there's
Like,
so
there
much
is
space.
only this much
Exactly.
volume in
your life.
your box.
Yeah.
It's your
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't, and if you're wasting your time with negative stuff, it's like it's
Yeah.
taking your energy. And
Yeah.
it's like,
And I don't frown on like missed things or things that don't go planned as they're supposed to, because I feel that that's just creating space for things in my life that are meant to be in my life.
Yeah.
And I ask the world to just remove what it's not meant to be there with dignity and grace.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt Yana's point that she's about to make and pull up the quote that we were discussing yesterday, Leah.
I don't remember that one.
Okay, so the Babe
was a lot of
list,
conversations.
Miriam's Babe list that she has, they posted something yesterday that really spoke to me.
Oh, I know the one.
And it was a quote from Ryan, who, if anybody knows Ryan, is like the most one of the most wonderful humans. And this is the quote. Let me try to find it right here. He said, "We're meant to receive what we receive when we receive it. Be grateful for the protection you receive from something you thought you wanted that isn't right for you at that time."
wonderful.
Yes.
I think we need to like give ourselves a break and understand the greater purpose.
Yes.
And sometimes when you're pushing so hard for something, maybe you're not meant to have that right now.
Absolutely.
Like you need to just like let it be what it is, right? And appreciate the message that's coming to you.
Yeah. And I think it's important just to be conscious of what we just spoke about, you know. Don't beat yourself up if something's not working out the way it's not the way you thought it was supposed to. Just let things happen. Trust the process. That's the biggest thing. Trust the universe. There is a greater, you know, good out there, and you might not see it at that moment in time, but in hindsight, everything is 2020, and you know, the worst of things will make sense for you in a certain period of time. It might be 2 days, it might be a year, it might be 5 years, but just trust the process and the universe. And
Well put. Well put.
Yeah.
Can you beat that, Yana?
Yana, do you have something you want to share? It doesn't have to be impactful or that deep.
It's like the only mantra that I ever really live by is don't be lazy. It's just like something that my mom's pounded into my head. Don't be lazy, don't be lazy. And so it's like, it also is the other side of like the pressure to get everything done, but you don't have to be lazy. You just like prioritize and take a step back,
And that can be intentional. It doesn't have to be just because you're lazy.
Exactly.
I like that too.
That's good.
I have a lazy child right now. I've been like really fighting it all week. Like my 8-year-old is like all of a sudden a teenager, and he's just like, no, he's just like, I'm like, it's hard to like kick him into gear. It's like, Elias, like, let's go, let's move it, be intentional, let's, and he's kind of like has this, I think he gets it from me a little bit, a very like lackadaisical reaction to things, and very kind of chill, and his demeanor is like that. But I'm like, come on, like teaching him, you can't be lazy. You have to be intentionally.
Yeah.
I mean, also with what you said, like I don't want to hurry them.
Right.
But
you have to teach them work ethic. Like I'm
Yes.
talking more so like with work ethic.
Yeah.
And like I have goals, and it's just like they're not going to be reached unless like
you do them.
Yeah.
Action items.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I gotta tie up my Nikes and get it done.
Love
You guys are getting it done. Tell our listeners where they can find you online.
www.maryrich.com. You can shop to buy our products on our Instagram handle at that brand Mary Rich.
And it's Mary, just in case anyone is thinking it's
RICH. And I'm sure Donnie and the team will be able to share a promo
link
code.
everything.
We were going to share a promo
that
code,
we can offer for you.
and we're going to do a little giveaway.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to do a fun little giveaway.
You guys are not going to want to miss that.
No.
We'll post the
and
links.
Yeah, we do pop-ups regularly in Vancouver. We have one coming up in New York, if there's any listeners out
Amazing.
there for the full month
There
of
probably are, yeah.
May. And yeah, I mean, follow our Instagram page, and we announce everything that we do on there. So there's lots going on this summer, and we'll...
Yeah.
So exciting. Thank you, ladies, for being
thank
here
you
with
so
us.
much.
Thank you so much.
Such a pleasure to chat with
That
you.
was so fun.
It was fun.
It's awesome.
Popped our podcast cherries.
Yeah. Totally.
You guys are naturals. Though.
Oh, gosh.
Seriously.
I didn't know what to expect.
Well,
It was nice.
Felt
You
good.
made
It's
it.
always nice catching up with you guys.
I forgot sometimes that there was a microphone on. I guess that's
Yeah.
what's supposed to
That's
happen.
Yeah.
You're so chill. I feel like I knew it would be easy for
Well,
you.
thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Bye.
Bye. You can follow us on social at Style for the Priv and at Priv Talks Podcast. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts, subscribe, and don't forget to leave us a review. We're giving you 20% off when you shop our website with the code Priv Talks, all caps and no spaces. And lastly, pop over to our Facebook group for exclusive scoops, giveaways, events, and more. Trust me, you want to be there. See you next week. Bye.